trash cans were kicked, and there was no trash that went anywhere, and the trash can was certainly not drop kicked. There was no gossip or shit talking happening outside of her apartment, given that the amount of time they spent in front of the apartment was a maximum of 10 seconds, and they also never even stopped walking when passing the apartment, which they have to in order to leave the apartment complex. One girl points at Gabrielle's apartment, pointing out that that is the famous YouTuber in town, and then the other girl proceeds to kick it. There was no shit talking. Once again, they did not gather around the campfire and sing a campfire song talking shit. So they're walking down the hall, kicking trash cans, being stupid, and then they eventually find Gabrielle's apartment. They then kick that trash can and then run off like pussies, okay? It really wasn't that flattering. Despite both parties knowing damn well that JC had no involvement, she was still fined by my ex and then sent thousands upon thousands of hate comments. For those of you that still somehow for the 5th time don't think that this is intentional, you are a dumbass. She kicked the trash can at approximately 9:04, and within minutes, as the security camera footage shows, my ex peeked her head out, went back inside, and within 30 minutes we had a bunch of TikToks of her crying and fearing for her life and claiming to be harassed and bullied and targeted. Now, at the time I saw these, I assumed they were true, so I did apologize to her like I said. The next day, they went to my ex's apartment to apologize. Now, whether or not this was because they were receiving death threats and 2+ million people have heard about the diabolical act that they had committed, or at the bottom of their hearts they just couldn't sleep that night over what they had done, I don't know. I want you to try to consider thinking about something that you've done that didn't necessarily hurt anyone or affect anything, but you're not proud of it, and you definitely wouldn't admit to it in public. Now, whatever story or image just popped into your head, I want you to magnify that by 1,000, portray that in the most negative way possible in front of millions of people, both on TikTok, social media, and locally. That would probably suck, right? Especially when you don't have a platform to defend yourself and the other party knows that damn well, and they continue to use that to their advantage.
Does not make it okay to gang up on one person who literally can't even defend themselves.
That would suck. When they tried to apologize, my ex-girlfriend was not home. They ended up giving a guy their phone number, said call or text us, and that she would be back home at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock comes around, she does not call or text or make any attempt to solve this reasonably. Now, just because they did try to apologize does not in any way, shape, or form mean that my ex-girlfriend has to accept their apology. No one likes for their property to be messed with, kicked, disrespected by any means, and if anyone ever does that to anyone, they should face the consequences. I'm only pointing out the obvious, and that is that no one is fearing for their safety in that apartment, and if anyone should be, it should certainly be the person receiving death threats for something they had nothing to do with. People are telling JC that she needs to control her friends, and I see this as totally unfair given that, like I've already said, she had absolutely nothing to do with this. She didn't tell anyone to do this. She didn't suggest anyone do this. Nor would she ever want anyone to do this anyways, because JC is smart enough to know that my ex would blow it out of proportion and cause a wave of 13-year-old savages that spent way too much time watching Jake Paul when their mom gave him the iPad. Holy shit. Some people have suggested that because I dated her for so long, I should be protecting her, and while I agree to an extent, I don't know her anymore. Matter of fact, while we dated, I didn't even know her, and I have found that out the hard way. I now have a current girlfriend whom I love more than anything and see a future with, and I'm going to prioritize protecting her, given that she continues to be the victim of something that she had absolutely nothing to do with over and over and over again. I want a t-shirt that says, "Us against my ex and his innocent girlfriend that never had anything to do with anything malicious towards me, yet I still continue to use her as a tool for attention and sympathy for the 5th time, and thank God I have a 13-year-old audience that falls for it every time." I don't know who kicks trash cans for fun. I never would. Once again, never would condone that. That's stupid and pretty embarrassing if I'm being totally honest. But at the end of the day, JC nor I had anything to do with it. And if we did, trust me, you know, because I assure you there's plenty of people trying to figure out how this can possibly be our fault. And I assure you, once again, it's not. And I also assure you that the footage will never come out because it would make my ex-girlfriend look like a total liar. And we also have been told that we can't even use it anyways. Both JC and the other girl that's being absolutely destroyed on social media right now have both made attempts to try to get the footage, yet a girl affiliated with my ex is not allowing us to do so. I want to tell you 2 stories real quick. The first one is the time I had a massive condom that made me extremely insecure about myself, given that that would never fit on my cock, lodged in between my window and windowsill of my truck. Now, there's a catch. The condom was filled with a massive amount of uncooked chicken liver. Now, I don't know about you, but I had never seen uncooked chicken liver in my life. I assumed it was body parts. I literally assumed someone had been murdered. I was like, Mom, did they get you? what's going on. Now, when that happened, I assure you I was upset for about 15-30 seconds. Then I realized how hilarious it is that someone literally took the time to pack a condom full of chicken liver and lodge it in between my truck. But I assure you, the last thing I ever thought to do was cry and hop on TikTok and then suggest that it was my ex-girlfriend's doing. Now, another story that is actually far more serious and far worse than having your trash can kicked was the time I was out and about swinging it left and right, and all of a sudden the next day, I found out that they were affiliated with not only my ex-girlfriend, but also the girl that would not allow us to use the security footage for our videos to prove our innocence. How convenient. Either way, when both of those incidents occurred, I never once even remotely considered hopping on TikTok land and crying about it. Not only that, implying that it was my ex-girlfriend's doing, despite the fact that they are certainly affiliated with all of them. This whole situation has made me realize two things. One, I genuinely wonder how much of the content I consume on social media is just complete and utter bullshit. It's also made me realize that this YouTube thing might not be for me anymore. I might not be cut out for this anymore. When I started YouTube when I was literally 11, it was the most beautiful and exciting thing I think I'd ever heard of. I mean, I just couldn't believe it, that you could make funny, entertaining videos and people would eventually find them and then decide whether or not to support you. I mean, I just thought that that was the most beautiful, most incredible thing ever, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do because I had never been good at anything else. This was what I wanted to do, bottom of my heart, no doubt about it. Fast forward to 2021 and it's not like that at all. It's pretty much the majority of people doing this are in it for the money or the attention, and don't get me wrong, I love making money and I used to love attention. But at this point, it really just is not for me. And also, just in case anyone thinks I farted, that was actually my candle. And I'm kind of weirded out by that noise right now. But either... Did it just wink at me? I don't know. Anyways, it's just not the same. It really isn't. And I could never imagine being the type of person to make a video bawling my eyes out over such a... I'm not trying to discredit the situation. It sucks. No one likes their trash can to be kicked, but to make it this incredibly massive ordeal, portray that as such to millions of people, knowing that thousands of people are going to directly attack someone that had nothing to do with it and feel nothing about it. Continue about my day as if nothing happened. I mean, what the hell, people? What the hell? Like, that's normal. And I feel awful that I've put my girlfriend, whom I love more than anything, in such a vulnerable position no matter what she does or does not do. It's really messing us up. Yeah, I think I've said everything I need to say, so...